A man is heading to jail after he admitted to starting several fires in Spokane last summer. Find out how long he will stay behind bars.
If you wanted a consistent forecast, you're just going to have to wait. We're tracking a spring medley of conditions, what I'm seeing tonight.
And a community is devastated after a West Side chemical tank implosion sent 10 people to the hospital and killed at least one. The latest from the facility in Longview, tonight on KREM 2 News. Good evening and thanks for joining us for the Night Report on KREM 2 News. I'm Christian Garza. Sydney has tonight off. Well, a Spokane man will spend more than 5 years behind bars after pleading guilty to setting a string of fires across downtown last summer. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy tells us more about the court's decision.
A series of suspicious fires that lit up parts of Spokane overnight nearly 1 year ago is now ending with prison time. According to the Spokane County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, Chad Horn pleaded guilty to 3 counts of second-degree arson after investigators linked him to fires set across Spokane early in the morning on July 8, 2025. Surveillance video showed Horn walking through Kendall Yards, throwing items and knocking over planters along West Summit Parkway. Minutes later, firefighters were called to a blaze nearby. Investigators say that pattern continued for hours. Horn was allegedly seen at multiple locations, including South Sherman Street and Spokane Falls Boulevard, shortly before fires were reported there. Several properties were damaged as Spokane firefighters raced from scene to scene, trying to contain the fires. Police arrested Horn days later. According to prosecutors, he admitted to setting several of the fires. During Tuesday's sentencing hearing, prosecutors highlighted Horn's criminal history, which includes prior reckless burning convictions along with assault and vandalism offenses. The judge sentenced Horn to 5 years and 3 months in prison, which is the low end of the standard sentencing range, after both prosecutors and defense attorneys jointly recommended that sentence because Horn accepted responsibility. The judge also ordered substance abuse and mental health evaluations, hoping Horn follows through with plans to learn trade in prison and continue taking medication. In addition to prison time, Horn will also serve 18 months of community custody after his release. Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
Wildfire season is upon us, and with the lack of snowpack, state officials are warning this year could be bad. State Commissioner of Public Lands Dave Upthegrove made a stop in Spokane County today. He says the state is ready to act at any moment when it comes to wildfires, but people keeping fire safety measures in mind this summer can make a huge impact.
We're seeing wildfire seasons starting earlier and running longer, and that's not surprising as population increases. Given that most fires are human caused, we see increased risk. Also, climate change is impacting drought conditions, it's impacting the health of our forests. These things also can contribute in various ways to wildfire risk. It is troubling, but I don't think it's a trend that's going to change anytime soon.
Upthegrove says some of the things that you can do to prevent wildfires include making sure campfires are out completely before leaving them alone, being extra careful using fireworks, and clearing dry debris that could catch fire easily away from your land. All right, switching things over to weather tonight. Let's take things outdoors to our outdoor weather center with meteorologist Cody Proctor there. Cody has an umbrella. Unfortunately, we've been saying spring medley throughout the day. I feel like that's been the phrase of the day. We saw a couple of days of sunshine and today, obviously, rain. So I guess, Cody, what can we expect from here on out?
Well, Christian, what if I told you that we're expecting even more of the same as we head into the next few days, where we start to see that roller coaster move back in and our temperatures start to go back up. And then we got another round of some more stormy weather later on this week. So it's been an interesting forecast, to say the least. But let's talk about the right now as we take a look outside over downtown Spokane. You can even see some of the raindrops in our outdoor weather center being reflected in the lighting of our outdoor weather center here. We're currently at 55 degrees at the Spokane airport. Winds are coming out of the west at 6 miles per hour. Around our region, you can see our temperatures are mostly in those 50s to 60s. Spokane still dealing with those showers right now, but not quite as heavy as what they have been. You can see we've been tracking those showers. They move through in the northwest, continuing to move off towards the northwest right there and coming out the southeast. Watching that pretty closely, but haven't seen too much as far as lightning strikes, at least within the last few hours. Here's where things now stand for us tonight. We're seeing some heavy downpours just around Sandpoint and Colville. Hour by hour, we'll hang on to that rain just a little bit longer. Should start things off more quiet tomorrow. Tomorrow, expect a high in the upper 70s for us with partly to mostly sunny skies. Thursday could see us in the mid 80s, but we've got some more active weather moving in. I'll have more about what's behind it coming up in your full forecast.
Eastern Washington University's play-by-play sports broadcaster is recovering after a heart attack nearly killed him just a week ago. He says if it weren't for the quick actions of his golfing friends, he may not be here today. KREM 2's Regan Gallo shares more about this life-changing story.
Larry Weir, the face and voice of Eastern Washington University athletics, suffered a nearly fatal heart attack at what was supposed to be a normal day at the golf course. Now he tells me in recovery, he's thankful for his friends who saved his life, and now he's just taking it day by day.
Unlike his normal sports schedule, EWU play-by-play sports broadcaster Larry Weir is taking it slow during recovery.
The timing of it all. If this had happened on Sunday, I live alone. Nobody would have missed me until Monday morning when we were supposed to be out golfing.
A casual morning tea time quickly turned into a scene of panic, showcasing a true testament of friendship.
He wouldn't move, nothing was happening.
Larry tells me he suffered a heart attack on the course and was clinically dead for a few minutes.
That's the thing. I have no perspective. I don't remember a bit of it.
But his friends sprang into action. They tell me they took turns performing CPR on Larry.
And then on 3, you just stop for a second. I'll pull the sheriff. It was Gary, 1, 2, Gary pulled up, and then he started again, and we hooked it.
Even tracking down the golf course's defibrillator while more help was on the way.
And they just kept going and going and going. 20 minutes later, there's a pulse.
Now, with 3 stents in his heart, he's turning his experience into action with plans to become CPR certified so he can help others in need.
If this had happened to one of them, I would have been, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I wouldn't have been able to chime in.
So as we all talk together, enjoying the welcomed rain of the day and the scenery around us, Larry laughed, saying he was not meant to go just yet.
Whatever was on the other side, they weren't letting you go over there yet.
Yeah. Exactly.
Either
that or if I wasn't welcome there.
Sorry, you came to the wrong.
We were looking
came to the wrong door.
Larry says he's unsure how long his recovery will be, though he says he's looking forward to getting back into the sports action when he's able to. For now, I'm reporting in Spokane. Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
New tonight, one man is dead after a truck crashed into a ground floor apartment at around 4:30 this afternoon. Kootenai County Sheriff's Office says when deputies arrived, they found 2 elderly people trapped under the truck in Hayden, Idaho. The elderly man died at the scene and the elderly woman was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. The crash is under investigation. New travel restrictions go into effect tonight for travelers flying from parts of Africa to the U.S. This comes as the deadly Ebola outbreak continues to spread. Now, all flights to the United States carrying passengers who recently traveled from the Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda, or South Sudan must arrive at one of 3 airports: Atlanta, Washington, Dulles, or Houston's Bush Intercontinental Airport. Now, travelers arriving from those countries will immediately undergo health screenings. Health officials say at least 220 people have died from Ebola in Central Africa, and at least 900 more possible cases have been identified. Tomorrow, President Trump is set to meet with top advisors at the White House to discuss a path to ending the war in Iran. Yesterday, the U.S. sent out what it called defensive strikes at targets, including what they say were Iranian boats attempting to lay mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Those strikes went out as President Trump said the U.S. and Iran were putting the final touches on a deal to end the war permanently.
It's a tale of 2 wars. You have these negotiations going on in Qatar. You have the president and others saying we're close to a deal, maybe we're not that close.
News has learned the U.S. and Iran are working to agree on a memorandum of understanding which would immediately reopen the strait and unfreeze Iranian assets. Well, still ahead tonight, the county is thinking about a new lease for Avista Stadium. Find out how long the Indians would stay in Spokane if it goes through. And after a deadly chemical implosion in Washington this morning, we hear from grieving community members after the break.